My name is Michael Anthony Garcia. I'm an artist and independent curator based in Austin, Texas. My practice is multidisciplinary in nature, focusing on sculpture, installation, photography, video, and performance, via which I explore my personal stories and histories and my navigation of the human condition. Much of my work explores the layers of my identities and the way the world interacts with me because of them, and the way I respond to the world through them, in a Latinx futurism that is grounded in a utopian projection of positivity. A lot of my practice involves collaging in one way or another, either through images or objects or ideas, and I explore through practices, as one would yoga, to embody an emotional positivity. I consider myself an activist at heart, using protests or actions or my artwork as a way to speak to subjects I think our society needs to address in further depth. A large part of my curatorial practice is pushing forward the voices of the unheard and underrepresented in the art world, such as the Latinx and Black communities. I'm also the co-host of El Puente podcast, which explores the intersectional conversation between the Latinx, Black, feminist, and queer points of view. With my El Puente crew, we also publish Poca Madre magazine, which is a publication dedicated to the ideas and the stories of artists of color. I have been very fortunate to have had many amazing experiences through both visual and performance art, and a lot of that ties back to my relationship with the Mexic-arte Museum and the ELA program specifically. In fact, if you were to follow the trajectory of my career, there's a definite vector line that leads back to the museum. From activating an installation by Mexican artist Abraham Cruz Villegas at the Contemporary Austin, to doing public artwork with Austin's Art in Public Places and their Tempo program in producing El Capacitor, which was in Metz Park. I've also participated in Experimental Action Performance Art Biennale in Houston several times. I've had the great fortune of working with Jeffreen Hayes and Three Walls in Chicago for a commissioned performance. I've had the opportunity to do residencies both through the University of Texas at Dallas and their Central Track program, as well as Casa Changarrito in Mexico City. My relationship with the museum goes back to ELA 11, actually, where I was a participating artist, and I met two of my co-conspirators in Los Outsiders, a curatorial collective that still produces work to this day. 7 years later, I was asked to curate YLA 18, where I also met a third co-conspirator in Los Outsiders. Both of those were enriching experiences as an artist and a curator, which have led to other projects. In ELA 25, one of the pieces that I'm sharing is Away with Words. The piece uses isolated text that I've acquired from source t-shirts from all across Austin as a way of connecting us through the words and the unspoken that we experience every day on our clothing. And I've taken that text and written poems that are now displayed as an installation, a sculptural installation, in the space. In the exhibition, I'm also sharing a video piece entitled Star-Crossed. In it, the protagonist is drawing lines in the sand, quite literally, as a way of appropriating the idea of border creation, as a way to defend themselves and to establish boundaries. The protagonist is comprised of DNA. The protection of the cell membrane is represented here through the border creation. Finally, in ELA, I'm also presenting two photographic works which act as documentation of a performative practice that's ongoing. These images are part of a larger body of work consisting of photos of temporary installations that I've created as I've guided BIPOCs in the city and retelling their histories through their clothing. As we explored their closets and lives, photos of their faces and clothing were projected onto their beds and collaged with other items from their closet. It acts as a means of temporarily reversing erasure of BIPOCs in Austin's larger narrative and creating connectivity within our communities by engaging in each other's homes and our stories.